Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals, Nate, is in the books, and there will not be a sweep because the LA Clippers defeated the Phoenix Suns 106 to 92. This
Damn.
was To me, this was a shocking game because this was a game I was like, the Clippers are screwed because I thought to myself, like, Chris Paul's coming back, and that was the guy they were missing. And despite him being gone, they still were able to win. But he came back, and the Phoenix Suns, get this, Nate, I believe they had 9 straight wins in the playoffs before losing today.
Yeah, that's something I forgot to mention in that last video too.
Ridiculous, Nate. But you know what? I'm gonna get to the stats, okay? We're gonna start with Mikal Bridges. So Mikal Bridges, he had 13 points. He shot I'm looking at the field. He shot 5 for 8 from the field, 2 for 5 from the three. Jay Crowder, he shot 3 for 7 from the field, 3 for 6 from the three, and he also had 9 points. Their leading scorer was DeAndre Ayton. He had 18 points, 9 out of 13 from the field. Obviously, he didn't shoot any threes. He also had DeAndre Ayton. He also had 9 rebounds. He had 0 assists, but he did have 2 blocks. So DeAndre Ayton had himself a good game. Now let's go to 2 guys that didn't have themselves that great of a game, Nate. Devin Booker and Chris Paul absolutely got clamped up. The best way I can explain it, Nate. Get this, Devin Booker, okay? 5 for 21, 23.8% from the field, 1 out of 7, 14.3% from the three, okay? 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 points with 4 turnovers. Look, that you need more from Devin Booker. Okay, Devin Booker absolutely got locked up. Which, by the way, credit to Patrick Beverly because Patrick Beverly was on Devin Booker for most of the game, and he was giving Devin Booker a very, very hard time. And Chris Paul, get this for Chris Paul now, Nate, it gets worse. 5 for 19, 26.3% from the field, 2 out of 7, 28.6% from the three. Okay, 12 assists, 3 steals, 2 turnovers, 15 points. Now, again, 12 assists is good and everything like that. 2 turnovers is not bad, but when you're overshooting like that, it's really not helping you. Cam Johnson, he had 12 points. He shot 4 out of 7 from the field, which is 57.1%. He shot 2 out of 5 from the three, which is 40% from the three. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and he had 2 turnovers as well with the 12 points. Now I'm going to go to the LA Clippers, Nate. So the LA Clippers, we're going to start with Paul George. Overall, Paul George, man, he did okay, but I felt like he overshot a little bit, okay? He went 9 out of 26, which was a percentage of 34.6% from the field. 3 out of 11 from the three, which is a percentage of 27.3%. He had 15 rebounds, so credit to him. He had he had 8 assists, a steal, and he had 6 turnovers with 27 points. So overall, Nate, Paul George's night was kind of like a roller coaster. There was some good and there was some bad. It just kept going like this. So now we're gonna go to Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann had a good game. He had 17 points. He shot 6 for 8 from the field, which is 35%. He went 0 for 1 for 3, which is unfortunate, but not a lot of threes. He had 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and he had 1 block. So credit to him. He had a good game. Avika Zubac, Nate. He went 3 for 8 from the field, 37.5%. He had 16 rebounds and he had 15 points with 2 blocks. So overall, Nate, he had himself a pretty good game. I'm looking Pat Beverly, man, not Pat Beverly, excuse me. Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson had 23 points. He had 3 assists. He had 1 rebound. And overall, he shot 9 out of 17 from the field, which is 52.9%. And he shot 3 out of 8 from the three, which is a percentage of 37.5. So overall, Nate, I mean, when I really look at this game, Nate, the Clippers did a really good job with defense. I'll say that. They did a very good job with defense, and they did what they were supposed to in stopping Chris Paul and Devin Booker. DeAndre Ayton had himself a good game, but that wasn't enough, okay? And then when you really look at like the actual game stats, Nate, when you really look at them, which I'm going to get to in just a second, I'm going to pull them up on my phone. I'm saying to myself, like, exactly what went wrong for the Phoenix Suns. And when I actually look at it, field goal percentage for the Suns was actually terrible, Nate. 38.9% compared to the LA Clippers, 45.1%. Now, could the Clippers be better? Yeah, obviously, 45.1% isn't exactly what you really want. But overall, Nate, the Phoenix Suns were just terrible from the field, which shows you how good that the Clippers defense was. Both teams, again, 3-pointers, they did poorly at. Phoenix Suns, they shot 10 out of 32 from the three, which is a percentage of 31.3. And the LA Clippers shot 12 out of 34, which is a percentage of 35.3. Both teams, they did pretty good at for free throws. Clippers had 8 more rebounds than the Phoenix Suns, 51 to 43. When I really look at this game, the Clippers had more blocks, 5 to 3. They had more steals, 8 to 5. And then points in the paint, obviously it was pretty even. The Suns had 42 and the Clippers had 40. And the Suns had more fouls too. So they had 19 fouls compared to the Clippers 15. So overall, the stats, they seem pretty like ideal. They seem pretty kind of like even. And overall though, Nate, I think the biggest factor to the Clippers winning this game was guys like Reggie Jackson showing up again. Paul George, despite him having a rocky night, he still had 27 points. And then guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, who were just absolutely locked down. They couldn't do nothing. Chris Paul came back, and again, he had a terrible game. Devin Booker had a terrible game too. They each had 15 points, and now, 15 and 12 is pretty good, but overall, Nate, when you're overshooting the way Chris Paul was, it's not a good sign. DeAndre Ayton had himself a very, very good game. DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, I think he is. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people don't talk about him that much because of Devin Booker and Chris Paul. But DeAndre Ayton, in my opinion, is I feel like the way that the Phoenix Suns are going to win this series. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like him against Zubac is a mismatch. I think DeAndre Ayton has been doing a great job against Zubac, and I think that's the guy they kind of need to run the offense through. Is a guy like DeAndre Ayton, and they can't forget DeAndre Ayton was the guy to get that game winner in Game 2. So DeAndre Ayton has been playing absolutely great. I think DeAndre Ayton has been the most consistent player on this Phoenix Suns team. Obviously Devin Booker and Chris Paul, they only had one bad game, but overall, I think DeAndre Ayton's been doing a great job, and that's a guy that I feel like is getting underlooked in this playoff series. So if I'm the Phoenix Suns, run your offense more through DeAndre Ayton, okay? Because if you're going to have guys like Paul George and Pat Beverly just locking down guys like Chris Paul and Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton is a great person to go to. So I think that's the way that the Suns are going to win. As for the LA Clippers, again, keep Patrick Beverly on Devin Booker. I really feel like it is frustrating him because Patrick Beverly, again, I like Patrick Beverly. And the reason why I like Patrick Beverly is because on defense, he's like, and I mean this in the nicest way, he's like a pest. He's like a pest. Basically, he's like a like when there's like a bug in your house and he's always flying around you, but you can never catch him, and he's always annoying you. You can't get him and everything. That's what Patrick Beverly is. Patrick Beverly is on that guy. Again, night in and night out, he's guarding the best guy and he's doing what he needs to do to help his team win. That's why I like Patrick Beverly. Does he annoy a lot of players? Yeah. Is he an unliked player in the NBA? I bet. But guess what? He plays defense at a very, very high level, and nobody can deny that. Now, again, I think that he's going to lock down Devin Booker every single game? No, obviously that's going to be pretty impossible to do. But I think he is their best defender to put on Booker. And again, Chris Paul is doing what Chris Paul does. But again, that whole Clippers defense did a very, very good job of making Chris Paul overshoot, which I feel like is something that they're going to need to do in order to win this series. So the series isn't over yet, Nate. Phoenix Suns are still up 2-1. But, hey, you never know what could happen, Nate, in LA. You never know. The Clippers could tie it up and end up doing some and end up going to the NBA championship. It is not a stretch, And not only that, Nate, every single game, every single series this year that the Clippers have won, they've been down 2-0. They were down 2-0 in this series too. So don't count them out, Nate. I'm telling people this. Do not count out the Clippers. Don't count them out because this team knows how to make comebacks. And not only that, they are a good team. And overall, if they can do this in next game, then the Clippers have a chance, Nate, even without Kawhi Leonard. So with that being said, I wish both teams the best of luck heading into Game 4. Game 4 is going to be tomorrow, I believe. It's going to be at I'm going to look it up right now.
Tomorrow at 9 p.m. on ESPN.
Thank you. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. on ESPN. So make sure you guys go check that out. And with that being said, best of luck to both teams in LA.
Yeah, I'll take it from here. First of all, like you mentioned, the Suns weren't doing good at the field goal. They weren't doing good with 3-pointers, which is both teams weren't doing that. But one thing that really hurt the Suns this game, key guys didn't step up.
Right.
And Devin Booker, Chris Paul didn't step up. You know what I mean?
And it's all
but that's because the Clippers defense was doing a really good job, which is something that they
Exactly.
need to do. It's something that they needed to do, and the Clippers defense came in clutch when they needed the most. So I gotta give the Clippers a lot of credit. They did really, really good on defense, and they locked up key guys that the Suns needed to step up, and that's what they did. That's their job, and they did a really good job with it. Now, I still got the Suns in 6, but it's still going to be tough regardless. Like you said, don't count the Clippers. Absolutely, you're right. Because even though the Suns overall, a lot of people think they're a better team. The Clippers are still, like you said about Patrick Beverly, the Clippers are best. They're that team that they're that team that a lot of people say they shouldn't be there, but they're not going to go away. You know what I mean? That's just what I think of the Clippers. And honestly, keep it up, because the more you act like that pest, the more likely you will to go on to the NBA Finals and maybe even win it. Who knows? You just never know. But overall, Mario, I look at the Suns. They got to play better in Game 4. They got to do better. They got to break through the defense. They got to do better from the field. They got to do better with 3-pointers. That's just it. Same thing with the Clippers too. But unlike the Suns, the Clippers actually won the game.
Right.
So when I look at this, Mario, I think the one thing the Phoenix Suns need to worry about, two things actually. Well, one, the key guys need to step up, and two, you got to break through the defense. That's
Right.
what I'm doing in Game 4. That's what I'm mainly focusing on in Game 4. Everything else, Mario, is not bad for the Suns.
Right.
Everything else is just as fine as it should be.
I still think run that offense through DeAndre Ayton.
Absolutely, yeah. He's done a great job.
Match defensively for Zubac. So run that up on him.
Absolutely. So I completely agree. So with that being said, Game 4 again is on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. on ESPN. So make sure you go check that game out. And with that being said, best of luck to both teams, and we'll see what happens Game 4.